All right, we are talking about fairy tales. Tell me, get out your little cards. Talking about magical elements. Who can think of an talking animal in a fairy tale? A talking animal in a fairy tale. Grant. Donkey in Shrek. What other talking animals? Olivia.
The crab in the Little Mermaid.
The crab and the Little Mermaid. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Sebastian. I can almost think of every single fairy tale that has some animal that talks. Helen.
The seagull that in the Little Mermaid that gives Ariel the fourth thing that she uses as a brush.
Yeah, it's actual fork. But she thinks it's a brush. Jonathan.
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
That whole group of characters. It's probably not necessarily a fairy tale, but he's he's Disney, so. Yes, Caroline. Flounder and the Mermaid. Little Mermaid, yes, we often see fish talking. McKenna. The pigs and the three little pigs, yes. Wensheen.
The pigs and the three little pigs. What? I guess that makes sense.
The pigs and the three little pigs and the big bad wolf. They talk.
The pig and the three little pigs.
One of the pigs and the three little pigs talk.
I know. In this story of
That's what McKenna just said.
What's that extra pig for?
I said the pigs and the three little pigs, meaning all of them. Owen, we don't have to be comical. There is a time and a place. Right now, you're just being disrespectful. Yes, Em.
The big bad wolf.
The big bad wolf. What about in Cinderella? Is there any animal that talks to Cinderella? Helen. The mice. One mice. Well, all the mice. They're all the little mice that sew her dress and talk and
the birds.
and the birds. I mean, everyone's talking. It's just a big conversation happening. Grant. What's that?
That little mouse. Yeah. And Cinderella.
Oh, that's his name? Oh, I forgot. It's been a long. What's his name? Gus. Yes. Yes. Now I remember. I couldn't remember his name. Yes. Oh my goodness. It's been a long time since I've seen Cinderella. Cole.
I think there's a bee who talks.
Could be. She talks to pretty much all the animals. I wish I could talk to them.
Guess what? Know what?
Wensheen.
A lion.
In.
Lion King.
Yes. Yes, they talk. That is one of my favorites. Emma.
The Beast and Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. Technically, he is a person.
Yeah, but also an animal.
But he's also a beast, so that makes it an even more fairy tale-ish.
Yeah.
Caroline. Yes, I'm late for a very important date. What about elves or dwarfs? Do we have any of those in our fairy tales? Well, I could think of Grayson.
Snow White.
Yes. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. What about elves?
Oh, what? I can't think of a movie that is named Elf.
Well, let me see. I'm trying to think elves or...
Doesn't Shrek have elves?
Well, I'm trying to...
Witches.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a fairy tale that has an elf as well. Oh, Helen, do you have one?
Well, it's not really real, but onward.
Oh, yes, they're elves, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bravo. Yes. Cole.
Lord of the Rings.
That is not a fairy tale. Not even, that is more of a fairy tale. I love Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. It's amazing. But a fairy tale it is not. But it's an amazing story. But it's just a little dark to be a fairy tale. But the Hobbits, and yes, there's a lot going on with that. Helen.
Is Peter Rabbit?
Yeah.
Ooh, I know Peter Rabbit.
Yeah. I don't see. It's so funny because everything is a little merged and fuzzy. Are all the Disney movies a fairy tale, or are some fairy tales Disney movies? That is the question. But they all, pretty much all of them, are once upon a time, and they live happily ever after. Owen. Pooey Bear. Pooey Bear is not really a fairy tale. It's just it's stories.
I like it.
But Pooey Bear is definitely has talking animals.
Yes.
Yes. What's that? I know, but they talk and they come to life. So I guess maybe it's kind of a fairy tale. It's more stories. Yes, Gabe. The Muppets are not a fairy tale. The Muppets are, yes, but they are not, it would not be considered fairy tales. What about magic spells in fairy tales? Who can think of a magic spell? They are in abundance. M.
And Cinderella.
Cinderella. What is the magic spell for Cinderella? The fairy godmother does what?
She makes like Cinderella a fancy dress, but midnight she's gonna turn back to normal.
Well, not only does she make her a fancy dress, what else does she do with a pumpkin and some mice? What does she do with that magical spell, which is pretty spectacular? Jonathan. Oh, okay. Well, we're talking about Cinderella. What do the mice turn into? Helen. Horses. What does just this plain old pumpkin turn into? Emmy. A beautiful carriage. So, yes, that is definitely a magic spell. Definitely. Yes, go ahead. Helen.
Don't forget about the lizard people. Lizard people?
What?
Well, there's lizards, and then there are like the people who sit in the back of it. That's in like the real.
Oh, the lizard. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I was trying to remember who the people are, because I remember the mice were the horses and the pumpkin was the carriage. But yeah, they were the people who were driving the carriage. They were lizards?
No, the goose was driving was doing that.
Okay, was driving. I need to watch Cinderella. It's been a long time. I remember bippity boppity boo, poof, and then everything turns into this beautiful Cinderella's gown and her glass slippers and all of that. Grayson.
In Onward.
Yes, there are magic spells. So who else has a magic spell in the fairy tale? Yes, McKenna.
Little Mermaid.
And what was the magic spell, and who was it given to? Who gave the magic spell?
I think the evil, like the.
Ursula. So the bad person did. Now with the fairy godmother for Cinderella, the good person who did the spell was good. But in Little Mermaid, Ursula was not good, was she? What did the Little Mermaid have to give Ursula in order to get feet? What was that spell? There was a trade. The Little Mermaid had to give Ursula something in order for the Little Mermaid to get legs. Ella, her voice.
I'd rather keep my voice.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
My tail.
But they lived happily ever after. What about a magic wand? I want a magic wand. I want to say, clean my house.
What?
Make my dinner.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yes, yes.
Or take off our mask.
Yes. Magic wand would be super awesome.
Take off our mask.
Who has something about a magic wand? The fairy godmother. I'm always thinking of Harry Potter. That's like the ultimate example of magic wands. But it's kind of a fairy tale, but yet it's not. I don't know. But that also has tons of elements of fairy tale themes.
Centaur.
Yeah. Well, okay, we already talked about the fairy godmother. What about a magic lamp? You guys just watched a fairy tale with a magic lamp.
Genie.
You rub the magic lamp, and what happens? Poof! With Jean. Yeah, but what fairy tale are we talking about? What's when Jean? Aladdin. That's the only one I can think of that has a magic lamp. Does anyone else know of a magic lamp in a fairy tale? Cole.
Well, it depends on what you're talking about as a lamp. Like a lamp like in Aladdin or a lamp
Well, it just says magic lamp. It doesn't have any specifics. A magic lamp. Is there another? I can't think of one, but do you have another example? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's not really a lamp, but it's a candle.
Oh, Luminaire. Yeah, you know what? I would say that is I would say yes, because he does have light. We are just. You don't look at me that way. You certainly have had to have seen Beauty and the Beast.
I have what? Wait, what? I have.
Well, that one is a little girly, so I get it. Helen.
I have a magic spell.
Ooh, okay.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, Sleeping Beauty. Now, a lot of the magic spells Shrek has magic spells in his when he turned into the handsome prince and Donkey turned into the steed. Oh my gosh, did you not see that one? That's like the last one with the fairy godmother and they go back to the palace where Fiona is from, the land of happily ever after. Oh my goodness, that was a good one. And a magic spell turns Shrek into a very handsome prince and Donkey into a very beautiful white stallion.
That's for.
Yes,
So he's not a donkey. Have you
he's
seen
not a
the
donkey. Oh, watch it, it's very good. But that
Have you
has
seen
magic.
The musical Shrek?
What's that?
The musical Shrek?
I have not seen it. All right, turn around and face forward. All right, so let's go do one more. Let's do. Remind me what a setting is, because your fairy tale must have a setting. Christian. Yes, where is your fairy tale taking place? And the one setting that is common is a castle, of course. There's princes and princesses and kings and queens. Somebody name me a castle in a fairy tale. What fairy tale has a castle in it? Jeff.
Rapunzel?
Rapunzel has a castle. M.
The one in Aladdin.
Yes. What's her name?
Jasmine.
Jasmine lives in the castle. She's a princess. Helen.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yes. Jonathan.
The story where the princess put her hair down and
Rapunzel. Rapunzel.
Let your hair down.
Let your hair down. So there are two versions of Rapunzel. There's Rapunzel, the original fairy tale, and then what is the other one?
Tangled.
Yes, that has taken the story of Rapunzel and has kind of switched it up a bit. There's a talking animal in that fairy tale. What is the talking animal? He is one of, does he talk?
No.
No, he really does. He communicates though. Olivia. Yes, love him. He is the best. He reminds me of a dog, his mannerisms. Anything else about a castle? Owen.
Not really a castle, but it's like a talking animal.
What's that?
Ulysses.
What is Ulysses in? Oh, in our book. I was thinking fairy tale. That is not a fairy tale. So you understand what difference between a fairy tale and a story. And that's what we're talking about. But I mean, it's a good example. I mean, you can have stories, lots of stories that have talking animals. But fairy tales are very specific, and that's why we're talking about this, because I want you to understand what makes a fairy tale a fairy tale. While we're talking, I have to do, what about Under the Sea? Winsheen, The Little Mermaid. Now, does The Little Mermaid also have a castle in it? Yeah. She is a princess. Her dad is the king of the what? Yeah. Poseidon. King of the ocean, a king of the water. He is a powerful dude with his trident. Yes. McKenna.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. Who lives in the castle?
The prince was turned into the beast.
Right. So Beauty is not from a castle, is she? She is a very normal person who happens to come upon this crazy story. So, very good. What about outer space? I can't think of a fairy tale that takes place in outer space. Can anybody? Maybe you could make one. These are just ideas. Yes, Helen. Well, it's a different land, different world, good, but not really space. Peter? Oh, you have me stumped. I don't know.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
That he lives on a star? Oh, now see, it's been, I don't know. I think that Neverland is just a different land that they fly to, where Captain Hook is and the alligator and all of that, but I don't think it's space. But I don't know. I'll have to look that up. What about a forest? Ooh, in the deep forest. Olivia.
Rapunzel?
Yes. Yes, she lives in the forest, like way high up in a tower.
In like a little cave.
Entangled. Yes. M.
Snow White?
Snow White. Yes, she escapes who and runs into the deep forest. Who's she escaping from? The evil queen. Yes. So that is definitely one in the forest. What about a faraway kingdom? Faraway kingdom. There's one that I could think of. Far, far away. The land of far, far away. Grayson. Yes.
Oh.
What about a desert? We can think of a fairy tale that takes place in a desert. Boy. Yep. Yes,
The Lion King?
No, that is not really a desert. It turns into a desert because it turns so evil. Because Scar is not a good ruler, and everyone leaves, and a drought comes, and everything dies, and it turns into a desert. I'm thinking one in particular that has a magical lamp and a genie. That's more of a desert theme area. Emmy, Aladdin takes place in Persia, which is desert. All right, so why are we doing this? Because I want you to understand the difference between a story and a fairy tale. And that is what we're going to be studying. So I want you to kind of look at this list of, I know, boys, that fairy tales are not your favorite.
Yeah.
However, I do need you to brush up on the fairy tales. What are the elements of these fairy tales? What makes them a fairy tale? We've kind of talked about that, and we'll talk about it some more, and we're going to start writing and getting ideas. Yes, M.
I have another fairy tale that kind of takes place in a forest.
What's that?
A part of Sleeping Beauty.
Yes. A lot of forests are involved. What about, does anybody know who Rumpelstiltskin is? Quite a name. How would you like to learn how to spell that name? Rumpelstiltskin. Grayson, who is he?
It's in a fairy. He's a bad guy in a fairy tale.
Yes.
And he offers to spin string into girls for the girl so she can become the princess.
That's right. Very good. That is a fairy tale. That, I think, boys, you would like, because Rumpelstiltskin is a male character. Also, you know, there's a lot of new, I know Frozen, but it has a very strong male figure in it as well. Oh, you don't like Frozen?
No, it's bad.
Again?
I like the second one better.
So again, refresh, look at the card that has the different fairy tales and kind of get to know and understand what they are. Google them and kind of get an idea or a feel what they're about, because you need to know the basics of fairy tales for this unit. You have to understand what a fairy tale is to write one. So pick one. I'm going to be reading some as well, not the real version, but the fractured version. Because that is what do I mean when I say the fractured version? Shrek is one example of that. What would you say a fractured version of a fairy tale is? Let's take Cinderella. What would you do with that fairy tale in order to fracture it? What does it mean to fracture? First of all, what does it mean to fracture something? Ella. Yes. You change it. To fracture something means you take it and you break it apart and you recreate it. So you do need to understand some of these traditional fairy tales in order to write a new one. So if you don't know these classic fairy tales, I would suggest you look them up, study them a bit. I don't expect you to read them word for word. Understand what they are. Yes? I don't know who's taking me out. Maybe it's me. So what I need you all to do is, does anyone else like to go to the bathroom? No? All right, you can go to the bathroom, my dear. We are going to go outside. And now, we're just going to go out here for a bit of a mask break. Get these things off.